Welcome, those of you who are tuning in. This is a special opportunity to ask some questions surrounding the Home Initiative, surrounding different aspects of the Home Initiative, things in the Home Series, things in Advanced Commitment Night.
Which is really where we want to be able to focus in today, because we've had a lot of questions come out of the last couple of weeks about Advanced Commitment Night. Who goes to Advanced Commitment Night? What is this about? What is this for? How's this going to work? People are a little bit curious about that. So we want to take this time to be able to speak to that. We'll start a little bit broader, and then we're going to focus really in on that.
You could have just answered all those questions that you just posed right there. All right, so here is the first question. Home Initiative, right? That's the broadest sense. That's what we're in. The homeinitiative.com is obviously where you can find a lot of this. But what is the purpose of the Home Initiative?
Yeah, so we've talked about this a lot. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but again, some of you may be coming into this brand new. So the Home Initiative we have two primary goals in this. One is 100% engagement. Primarily, this is it's a discipleship experience. It's us continuing to take next steps back towards God, to find our home in Him. And then as God's working and moving, we're asking Him to lead us into, okay, God, how do you want us to be a part of impacting and changing the community, which is our secondary goal of establishing a space that is ours, further establishing ourselves inside of this community that we're able to love from, not just on Sundays, but throughout the week.
Awesome. So this is actually a personal question. I don't care if they have it or not. Is my current giving included in the Home Initiative?
Yeah, one of the things that's so important, because we talk about the secondary goal of being able to take our generosity to 12 million over the next 2 years. There's a couple of really key pieces to that. One is 2 years. Okay, that's not 12 in 1 year. That's 2 years. And the other piece that's really important is that our current giving is included in that. Our current budget is included in that. That's not 12 above and beyond what we're already giving. You see, we want to value what people are already giving, and we're acknowledging that what you're already giving is part of this initiative. It's part of what God's doing. It's part of where God's taking us. And even when you look at the commitment card, we actually have a video on the homeinitiative.com that will walk you through the commitment card and explain the different pieces of it. But when you look at that, you're going to see that the first thing that you identify is your current giving, because that's part of that commitment. So I've had people say, I'm not really sure about the commitment and that. And I said to them, okay, but you do already give. Like, you're already part of this. You already have committed to a certain extent to be part of this through your current giving. And then really praying about, okay, how do I expand on that? How did I take my generosity to a different level in this as we walk through this journey together and as we engage God in this way? So it's very important that you understand that your current giving is part of this. I talked to someone the other day that said, I'm currently giving in a really sacrificial way, and I've really trusted God recently with how I'm giving, and so I don't know if I'm going to be able to be part of this. And I said, no, you are a part of this. and for you to be able to say, no, I'm committing to continue to give in that sacrificial way, and I'm going to continue to give, and I commit to continue to do that in a really powerful way. That's part of this.
Right. So I know this question comes up sometimes. It comes up in group and conversations on Sunday. What if I can't give a lot?
Yeah, I think because of the overall number of our goal, this question comes up. But you have to understand that one of the most celebrated act of generosity in the scriptures is the widow's mite. And it's where Jesus calls out this woman who's giving sacrificially. She's just giving a mite. It's the amount is so small. It's so small and insignificant. But she's following God and what God asked her to do, and she's giving what she can give, and she's giving from what God has given to her. And so I just encourage people, and this has been, and hopefully you've seen this throughout the series. Hopefully you've experienced this throughout the series. I know a lot of people at the beginning of this thought, oh, the whole engage God thing, that's just kind of a cover for what's happening. hopefully you've been able to see through our Sunday conversations what we're doing. Like, no, that's what we mean.
Correct.
Like we are 100% behind that. And what we want for people to do, what we want to do ourselves, is to follow God in this. And so to go to God and say, okay, God, what do you want me? How do you want me to be part of this? I don't have a lot to be able to give. Okay, but God, that doesn't mean that you can't be part of this, and that God's not going to lead you to be part of this in some way. And God celebrates that.
That's awesome. So you said the Home Initiative is going to be over the course of 2 years, right? That's kind of what we've talked about. And so if there's any other things we need to talk in terms of the length of the Home Initiative, but also within that, we are in a very transient community. So what happens if, not me, don't worry, but what happens if somebody moves in that process?
Yeah. So someone asked my wife yesterday. They said, well, what if I lose my job? Do I have to keep the commitment? And Anna said, people are asking me this question. I don't even know what to say. And I said, well, what I would tell them is absolutely. We fully expect that.
That's right.
No, come on. We understand, there's all sorts of things that happen in life, and we're entering into this together as a family. This is not a legal contract that we're setting down and, okay, this is a commitment that we're making together, a journey that we're entering into together. And we understand that sometimes things are going to change, and that's going to impact this a little bit. And yeah, we call people to step into this and be used by God in this way and to keep their commitment. But we also know that there are going to be situations and circumstances that might arise that shouldn't keep us from setting out to do something great with God. And one of the remarkable things is that a part of this is trusting God that He will provide for what He calls you to. Mm-hmm. And to understand that even if that happens, it's amazing how God will provide for you to be able to follow through on what He's called you to. And it may not look like what you expect, which is one of the greatest. Those situations build your faith in an unbelievable way, because you think you can make this commitment because of the fact that you have this job. Nope. You can make this commitment because God's called you to it, and He provides for what He calls you to.
That's awesome. So as you said, we're going to start broad and move in a little closer. Let's focus a little bit on this upcoming Advanced Commitment Night. What is Advanced Commitment Night, and why should I attend?
So it was actually a little bit earlier as I talked with you about it that I think I settled in on probably the best picture of Advanced Commitment Night. If you were with us on Sunday, we talked about my second son and him learning to trust me and learning to trust that I would catch him. In only one of the services did I talk about this, only in the third service. I wish I'd been able to bring it into the other two, because it really is a great picture of Advanced Commitment Night. Because as my second son was hesitant to trust me and to jump to me, my older son, which as I talked about on Sunday, was always very open, ready to jump, ready to go. He would constantly encourage my second son to trust. He would constantly tell Kale, listen, Kale, you're going to love it. Just let go. It's incredible. You're going to love it. And he had moved from that place of fear to that place of joy and excitement of experiencing this with his father. Mm-hmm. And so he was cheering for him and encouraging him. He would beg him, Kale, just do it. You can do it, buddy. You can do it. And that's what Advanced Commitment Night is. Advanced Commitment Night is those of us who are like, no, we're ready. We're ready to jump. We're going to jump. And for many of us, we've experienced this with God. We've taken steps of faith before. And so we're ready to jump into it. And it's our chance to be able to say to the rest of our church family, come on, you can do it. This is going to be amazing. I know you're a little bit nervous about it. You don't have to be nervous about it. You can go all in this. You can jump into this. And for them to be able to cheer them on in this really unique way. And oftentimes Caden would jump in and say, watch me, watch me, watch me. And then he'd jump. He'd say, okay, now you can jump. That's what Advanced Commitment Night is. It's us coming together as leaders and saying, watch me. Okay, you can trust him. I'm telling you, you can trust him too. You can jump. as well. And that's what we want to be able to do. It's those of us who want to lead out in that step of faith, who want to lead out in generosity, coming in and taking that initial jump to be able to say to the rest of our family, you can trust him. You can trust him, and you can jump too, and we're in this with you. And we want to be an example in that. So that's what it's about. Now, what is it? Like details of it.
Let me know.
So it's March 2nd, 7 o'clock, 301 Garden. We wanted this to be at a special location because we wanted it to be at another location. We wanted it to be a little bit more unique, a little different. But you see, we have this challenge that we keep talking about, which is that there are no spaces for us inside of our city. And this again was one of those situations. You were part of the team that was trying to find that space and trying to figure this out. We thought about having it on a boat.
It's true.
One of the only places that we could figure out was on a boat, but we want to be good stewards in this as well, and so that played a part in it. And
which is interesting because that's also a nautical term.
Steward?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Like a steward on a ship.
I never know. But yeah, we wanted it to be different. We couldn't find space, so once again, it is going to be at 301 Garden, but it's going to be a special night. We've got a lot of really special things planned. It's going to be an experience at 301 Garden, unlike any experience that you've had before, and it's going to be a historic night. It's the night itself is going to feature a lot of what we feature on Sundays. So there's going to be celebration through music. There's going to be silence and prayer time. There's going to be a conversation that we walk through together, and then there's going to be a time when we will make our commitments, and you're going to have a chance. The commitment cards will be there. You're going to have a chance to be able to fill that out. Okay, what is my current giving? What do I believe God's leading me into? Okay, what's the total? What is that over 2 years? Because I can't emphasize this enough. 2 years. That 12 includes our current budget, which our current budget is already 6. So that 12 is an expansion of what we already give. We already give in such a significant way. And so we're building on that. And so we're going to take, what do I currently give? How does God want me to expand that? Okay, what's the total of that? What does that look like for 2 years? And then is there something that God wants for me to commit out of my stored resources? For Anna and I, that's one of the really big conversations is stored resources, and financial peace has led us down a road where we have work to build stored resources. And so how do we give? What does God want for us to give out of that? Because our security is not found. Our security is not found in financial peace and making sure that everything's pieced together. Our security is found in following Him. And so what do I want to give out of that? Okay, that's my total commitment. And so we're going to fill out those cards, and then some people have asked, am I going to have to say my commitment out loud in front of everyone?
Stand up and proclaim.
Yes, which Anthony has argued heavily for.
It's true. I like to be vocal.
No, absolutely not. When have we ever done anything like that as a part of our family? What's going to happen is that you'll fill out your card, and then we're going to have a time, and there's going to be baskets around the space, and you're going to be able to take that commitment and make that commitment to God, and just place that commitment inside of the basket. And then then after that, there's going to be a time of just celebrating God and what He's leading us into. And
that's awesome. That's awesome. So we know what it is now. Who is it for, right? And then can everyone attend, even if I have children?
Yeah. So that's 3. Yeah.
3 questions in one.
So from now on, can we
ask
one at a time?
Okay. We know who it's for. We know what it is. Who is it for?
Yeah. So like I said, it's for those who want to lead out. Now, you don't have to be a leader per se, because this is one of the gifts that God talks about in Scripture is the gift of generosity. And some of you are actually leaders in generosity. You're not leaders in other capacity, but you're a leader in generosity. And this is your chance to be able to step into your leadership in a really unique way. And so it's for those who want to lead out in this, no matter where you are, no matter how you're engaged as part of Hope and Grace. Some of you are going to be doing this from other parts of the country, and we're going to have that commitment form available for you online, because some of you've been journeying with us here at Hoboken Grace for years and years, and you've been leaders in generosity, and you want to step into this, and you want to change this community, and you've invested heavily in this community, and it's gonna be your chance to be able to step into that as well and say, no, I want to be able to give in this way. And so
So anyone and everyone can attend.
Yep.
Right. And if I have children, there is Grace Kids offered. Correct?
Yes. So I don't think we've emphasized this enough. So parents, we do have Grace Kids on the 4th floor. We got some special things planned for them as well. So don't allow that to keep you from being part of this historic, and I think this is going to be a really powerful night.
So where do I start? Where do I start giving for the home initiative? You know, where do I if I'm ready to do this, and does it start at advanced commitment night? Does it start in advance of advanced commitment night? Or I know you said that what I'm already giving is part of it, but you know, the above and beyond portion of it. I mean, when do we start that?
Yeah. So in a little while, you're going to see that there will, if you go on PushPay and you give to what is called the general fund right now, in a little while you're going to see that that's going to go away, and there's only going to be one fund. It's just going to say the Home Initiative, because all of our giving is going towards this, because this funds everything that we do, not just the establishment of the space, but this journey funds everything that we do. And so your current giving, as you're giving right now, like that's going to be able to be a part of that. So keep giving as you're giving, and then we're going to make our advanced commitment night. It's going to be March 2nd. March 15th is going to be when we together as a family on Sunday do the same thing. We're going to walk through those commitment cards. We're going to bring those, put those in the baskets together as an entire family. We're going to make our commitments together. And then 2 weeks later is going to be our first big give. And that's where we're going to give from those stored resources, where we're going to give, and that's going to be kind of our big launch point in terms of those stored resources. But really, from the 15th on, you're going to see that general fund is going to go away. It's just going to be the Home Initiative, and everything that you give to that is going to be part of this and included in this.
Awesome.
One of the other things, and just going back to how Advanced Commitment Night worked, because someone asked me this question as well. They said, "Who's going to see my card?" And
we're going to tweet it.
I want to stop. This is we can't even joke about this one. Like that's a legitimate question, a serious question, and I want for you to know that this is something that we've taken very, very seriously. There are actually only going to be a couple of people on our staff. We're not even going to bring teams into this. It's going to be specifically people on our staff that are incredibly trustworthy, that have been incredibly trustworthy as part of our finance team, and they're going to be the ones who see that, who enter that into our system. And so this is not going to be something that you need to worry about who's going to see it, or who's going to have access to it. It's we take that very seriously. We always have taken that very seriously, and even for those who are on staff, even in directors' roles here at Hoboken Grace, most of them do not have access to that information.
It's true,
and that's something that we will continue to take seriously.
So as we see this process starting, how do I get do I get updates on the process status of the Home Initiative as it moves along, or is there a plan for that?
Yeah, so every quarter we're going to be updating people on where they are in terms of their commitment, and then where we are in terms of the initiative and what's happening, how God's working. The other thing that we're going to be updating people on as we move through this process, because our situation, because we live in an urban setting, because of the real estate situation in our city, most of you know we don't have a space that we have identified that we're like, okay, we need to move forward with this, or this is where we're going to move forward. It's not that we aren't in conversations about spaces. We actually are, some of which are a little bit even further along. But one, we're not going to rush that. We're going to make sure that we prayerfully engage in that conversation and in that pursuit. Two, a lot of this is getting us in a position where we would be able to, when that space shows up and we see that we're going to be able to move quickly on it, because of the fact that we've been wise in preparing and in saving for this. And then I forgot what your question was initially, but
they updated the process.
yeah. So how are we going to update? So the other thing that we're going to update people on is that process. So to be able to come to our church family as we move through this and say, okay, well, we're in talks about this this property, or we're in talks with this development or this developer, and just allowing people to know where we are in that process as we identify the space and then begin the process of building out that space and preparing it to be something that that we can really use to love people for generations.
Last couple of questions. One of the things that we get is, how is the Home Initiative going to impact the community? Is there any talks about that, or how? I know we talk a little bit about it in the book.
The best thing that I think for you to do when it comes to that is to go and watch the Vision Night conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's thehomeinitiative.com. The Vision Night is up there for you to be able to watch. And we just talk through all the opportunities that we have to say no to, and all of the opportunities that we believe God's calling us to step into to be able to impact and love the community around us.
Awesome.
So,
and that website is thehomeinitiative.com. Last question that I think we have for the moment is, can I donate stocks or assets?
Yes. So our teams worked very hard in order to be able to prepare for this in such a way that we're able to receive those. And as we step into this, and part of your commitment, that one of the things that you'll be able to write down on that commitment card is, no, I want to be able to give this asset, or I would like to be able to donate stock, and then we'll be able to work through that with you to be able to make that possible by the time that we make that first big give. The other thing is, some people have said, "Can I do this online?" Yeah, we do everything online when it comes to this. And one of the big things that's going to happen, and I was just thinking about this and trying to figure out timing of this for me, because it's not just my stored resources that Anna and I want for it to be able to give out of, but also we want for it to impact our ongoing giving on a monthly basis. And so when am I going to go in and change? Because I do recurring giving.
Right. So
when am I going to go in and change that recurring giving number to be able to reflect what I believe God's calling us to do?
That's awesome. I know there's probably tons of other questions. If you go to homeinitiative.com, there's a way to get in contact with us. More questions are always welcome, and we have people that are very capable, ready, and passionate to answer those questions. Any final thoughts?
No, just excited about this coming Sunday. I think it's just gonna be another powerful conversation as we continue through the life of Abraham.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
warned us.
It is. And then obviously walking into Monday night, which I think you and I have many of these moments that we can point back to over the course of the last, you've been a part of this for over 6 years now, that we can point back to, and when we sit down, we're like, you remember that? You remember, like, that was a turning point. You remember that night? You remember that service? You remember that baptism? You remember that event? Like, that was a turning point. Like, and it was a really unique and special moment in the history of our family. Monday night is going to be one of those.
So you're not going to want to miss it. Join us for ACN. For those that are in now, and those of you who not, Advanced Commitment Night. We'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday.